Good morning and welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite is Karl Strohmeyer. He's the President of Americas over at Nasdaq-listed Equinix. Thank you, as always, for joining us. It's great to have you back in New York.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Let's talk about Latin America trends. But first, what about the acquisition of Dallas Infomart, and why is this important to the regional expansion efforts over at Equinix?
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me back. Last time I was here, we were talking about Verizon and the acquisition of 29 data centers. So that is going great. But yeah, the Infomart acquisition was pretty exciting. If you zoom out a little bit and you think about Latin America as a market, it's growing by leaps and bounds. And the Infomart obviously is a key component of that because it is the center of interconnection for the South Central United States, the building itself, and a gateway terrestrial to Mexico and Latin America. So very exciting acquisition. At the end of the day, it's all about interconnection on the platform.
So how's this going to benefit current customers and brand new customers?
Great question. So if you think about what Equinix does, at the end of the day, we do three things really, which is make sure we're in the right markets. We have 200 data centers in 52 of the largest markets in the world. And then we do a service quality and make sure that the experience of everybody in those sites is consistent around the world. But then the magic is around the interconnection. It's around company A interconnecting to company Z and the magic that happens there. We did a study, and you probably remember this back last year, around the interconnection index. Yep. And it said that private interconnection is growing at a rate of 2 times that of public interconnection or the public internet. And if you look at Latin America, it's growing the fastest out of all the regions, like 62% a year. So anything to do to underpin that and support our customers and the growth around that is obviously critical.
Well, you kind of touched on why Latin America is key to that particular strategy and how Dallas is the gateway for that. Are there specific regions within Latin America that you're tuned in on?
Absolutely. So when we did the acquisition of Verizon, we got the Napa of the Americas in Miami as well. And so think of that as the other gateway between the north and the south. So the Caribbean down to Brazil, through Colombia, as well as through Mexico. So we've invested in Sao Paulo, and in Rio, and then also in Colombia. So those are the markets we're in right now. We're seeing about 20% growth rate year over year. And all the digital trends, all the shift to digital that we're seeing here in the United States is happening in spades in Latin America. So being an underpinning fabric of that is obviously critical for us.
All right, and to wrap up, what kinds of business opportunities are you seeing in Latin America?
Very similar to what we're seeing in the United States. I mean, from manufacturing companies to oil and gas, everybody's shifting to digital. And they need an infrastructure to do that. And when it comes to that, they need a place to physically manifest that interconnection. And that's where we're offering and that's where we're focused on, both in region and as well as around the world.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.